All right, not hardly a cloud in the sky. Third time's gonna be a charm, ain't it? That's about 24 hours later. We got a grand total of 1/1500ths of an inch. Yeah, I'm grateful for it. That 1/1500ths of an inch really wasn't worth knocking us out of the field for a day. Really hoping we get more. And then looking at skies, who knows, we might get it. It's kind of clouding up, looking a little threatening. But anyway, this wheat should be close enough to being dry again. Got a UT and Pioneer. We'll be out here in a few minutes to get some variety plots out, so we'll see how much this farm will get knocked out today. At least my combine got rinsed off, looking a little cleaner. Kelly's been out all morning working on planting on that last 2 farms I did while they were spraying cotton, so she should be about done over there and moving over this way where she'll be pretty much caught up with me. All right, Carter, go dump that in the trailer because that sail is coming directly towards us. Y'all see that right there? That just like blew up in like 10 minutes. And it's coming right for us. Hey, I'm all right with it raining as long as it rains enough to get some moisture in the ground. It can rain all it wants to. If we're just gonna get another 1/10 of an inch though, I'd just rather return that back to cinder. Well, Andy, after Carter dumps this on you, pull that truck over there close to the entrance so we don't get it stuck getting out of here. I don't think we're going to do any test plots. Way wagons aren't here, and this storm's right here on our doorstep.
Alrighty, that sounds about right. Right as soon as we get out there, it starts raining.
At least we'll have a chance to get our electrical project finished up.
Just gonna sit and wait and see what happens.
Now go ahead and unload that in Andy, and then we'll wait around and see what happens. Yeah, we're done for today. Got a grand total of 15 minutes in. Starting to see a pattern emerge. But at least we get to get back and get this project finished up there in the gym, getting a new electrical panel installed. Anyway, I'll bring you back to wheat harvest whenever it's time to cut wheat again. All right, not hardly a cloud in the sky. Third time's gonna be a charm, ain't it? All right, look at these variety plots right here that we're harvesting. Look at how they can look so much different from variety to variety, depending if it's bearded or non-bearded. Also got a little bit different colors and stuff. Always pretty neat to see. I gotta say, I'm actually a little surprised. I was expecting this wheat to be really wet because we got a real good rain here yesterday. I mean, when Kelly got over here with a planter after she got done planting the field that was across the road that didn't get any rain, there was water standing in places in this farm, but that just shows you how dry it is. It don't even look like it's even hardly rain, but this wheat dried down a lot quicker than I expected. It's running 14.5, 15%. The third time my UT and Pioneer folks have been out here to cut these test plots. I was like, it don't matter what the moisture is, if it ain't actively raining, we're gonna get them out for you, so y'all ain't gotta come back out here anymore. I was grateful for the good rain we got over here yesterday, but unfortunately this is not where I needed it. None of my corn ground got any measurable rainfall, which is where we actually needed it. You know, we got it over here on the field where, yeah, we don't have anything growing right now. Yeah, it's gonna help get the soybeans up, but I'm a little bit more concerned about the crops that are out there growing. Plus it knocked us out of wheat harvest for a day. You know, if we got yesterday in Today's Friday. I was planning on getting done on Saturday, you know, taking Father's Day off and stuff, but we got like 190 acres left. Don't think we're gonna get that done in 2 days, especially having to take time to cut these blocks. And I'm glad I'm here inside the cab instead of out there in that heat and dust. Boy, it's a nasty job there. All right, we got done with our variety plots, but we're not done with plot work yet. I got some of my own plots got to put in. If y'all remember back when we were spraying post-emergence on our wheat, I decided to put in 2 test plots, testing on whether it was beneficial to include a fungicide application in that early post-emerge, just to try and keep disease out. So we got 2 100-foot strips of untreated with fungicide right here and down there. I'm gonna cut 1 strip here untreated, come back and cut right next to it that was treated, do the same thing on the other end of the sprayer pass, and then do our other sprayer pass the same way. So we'll have this trial replicated 4 times, and to see if that fungicide application, if it does anything to increase yield, pays for itself, whatnot, because it's become kind of a standard recommendation by a lot of crop consultants now. And we definitely don't want to spend money on products that's not going to give us a positive return on investment. But not only that, we don't want to apply products there that kill a certain pest, because every time you use that product, you're leading to building resistance in something. And the only time you really want to use it is when you definitely got a problem and it's going to provide you a positive return on investment. Just using it willy-nilly, whatever, that's what leads to resistance, to whether it be insects, weeds, or disease, whatever. So we're going to harvest this plot here and see what the results are. If you're interested in my variety plot data, at the very end of this video, I'll post the results from it. So if you're farming, looking for some good soft red winter wheat varieties, you can get some pretty good data on there. You can also find the results on utcrops.com. Well, we got our test plots out. Variety plots. We're still working on fungicide plots, but look at that sky. That ain't looking too promising yet again. Got Andy running the measuring wheel. Be a whole lot easier than side by side. I'm not bringing it up here just for this. Well, the data's in and it's not looking very good for the chemical companies. Anyway, we had both treated and untreated replicated 4 times, and in 3 of the 4 cases, the untreated out-yielded the treated. In other words, in 3 out of the 4 cases, applying a fungicide early March caused the yield to go down. I don't know if it actually caused it to go down, but 3 out of the 4 trials, the one where we applied the fungicide, yield was lower than the one right next to it where we didn't treat it. I don't know if there was much statistical difference between the trials. I mean, we were only talking about, you know, 1.5 bushels difference usually between the 2. But I'll tell you one thing for sure, applying the fungicide most definitely did not cover the cost of the application. That's for dang sure. I think the fungicide we were putting out cost me somewhere in ballpark $4 or $5 per acre, times $425 an acre. I mean, you're looking at what, $1,600, $2,000 extra dollars I could have in my pocket if I hadn't applied it. And that, folks, is a prime example of why we do our own farm testing, rather than believing what the chemical companies say, rather than relying on data from somebody else's farm somewhere else that's got different management than what we do. You know, I'm not saying that a fungicide won't increase yields, or at least at the early stage, but it certainly didn't on our farm in this year, under what could be considered, you know, potentially high disease pressure with all the rain we were seeing at that time. So for those of y'all that farmers, you know, don't necessarily go by my data, but it's a prime example of why you should be testing each and every product, or at least as much as you have time for, on your own farm, because there's a lot of claims out there that they may be true in some instances, but that doesn't mean that they're true in all instances, and you could be spending your hard-earned money just throwing it right out the window and not getting anything in return for it. Down there in that bottom, you can see Some of my early beans, truth be told, for how long they've been in the ground, they don't look great. We got a good stand, but it's just like they've been stunted. They haven't done a whole lot of growing. Of course, they've been through some really, really wet spells. They've been through some cool spells. They've been through some dry spells. But in reality, I'm not worried how they look. Beans is the one crop where you actually want them to suffer in the vegetative growing period. You want them to struggle some. You want to injure them. What that does is that actually increases their yield potential by causing them to branch out more, not get so tall vegetatively. You know, short beans within reason will actually yield more than tall beans. You get a really tall viney bean, you know, all the effort of the soybean plant is going into building vegetative mass and everything. You don't have near as many fruiting nodes on it. So a lot of the top soybean producers, you know, they'll do something to injure their soybeans when they're still relatively young. Either come in with a herbicide that burns them real bad, maybe come in with a roller to roll over them, and all of that stuff will actually, you know, could lead to higher yield as long as you get more moisture during the growing season. You know, they're getting close to putting on first bloom, so the struggles they've had up till now don't bother me one bit. You know, shorter soybeans, they'll mature out better, they'll cut a whole lot better, and they definitely got the potential to yield more. So anyway, we'll come back in another month or so. We'll take a look at them then. I guarantee you things gonna look a whole lot different then. Well, we're about to call it a day. We've had a really good day. The rain never made it up this way, and heck, it's almost 9 o'clock. We still running. We about to get too damp. I had to slow down, and my loss is still edging on up a little bit, so I got to fill the combine up to make a semi-load. We're going to do that, blow off the combine, and be ready to do it all over again tomorrow. By the time I fill the truck up, we've done about 62 acres. Not bad considering we didn't start till 1, and we had all those plots to get out. We've had a dang good day. Well, after talking to Dylan and a couple other agronomists, there's no really firm conclusion on my wheat crop why it's been a little lackluster this year, but I think it's a combination of several things. You know, we plant our wheat quite a bit later than everybody else because we plant ours behind cotton. We got to get our cotton out before we can plant our wheat. So, you know, all of our wheat was planted sometime November 10th, 12th, 13th, something like that, and didn't have very much growing season. It had just barely come up when that hard freeze hit us in there in late December, and I think it killed off some of the tillers. That, in combination of the really wet spring that we had, causing us to lose some nitrogen, I think that's a combination. We don't have a bad wheat crop by any means. Whole lot better than a wheat crop than a lot of other people out there, but what I've heard some other people yielding, it's definitely a little subpar. And what one of the agronomists told me is talked to a lot of wheat producers so far. They've cut quite a bit of wheat so far this year. It seems like that the sweet spot, the guys that are making the really high yields, you know, they planted, you know, somewhere October 20th, October 23rd, had opportunity to put on more fall growths, and I guess probably become a little bit more winter hardy when that freeze hit. You know, we made some really big yields with late planted wheat before. I mean, heck, 2 years ago we had some, stupendous yields, and a lot of it was planted late. But you got to have the right weather to do it, and we just didn't have the right weather this year. But the bottom line is, I got to try and do everything I can to get my wheat in earlier. I mean, in the past, I have been doing everything I can, but we were just limited on harvest capacity on cotton. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore. We should be able to mow through cotton a whole lot quicker now with that new module picker than what we've done in the past. But we might not see earlier planting wheat this year just because of the state of our cotton crop, you know, just being, I think it's going to be extremely late this year. You know, we had to replant approximately 80% of our cotton crop, which puts it behind the 8 ball from the get-go. Then we had, you know, a week and a half of cool weather here while we were waiting on our wheat to mature out, and you know, cotton just didn't do a whole lot of growing. And in order for us to have a cotton crop that's on time this year, I think it's going to take some yield limiting heat to get us there, which, you know, we don't want. Again, this seems to be the kind of the theme that we've seen so far this year. You're danged if you do, danged if you don't. There really is no correct call to making outstanding yields some years, no matter what you do.
It's a hot, steamy morning. June weather has finally come back. I can't see out of my window, so I'm about to go rinse off my windows. I got 26 acres done yesterday. The day before that, when it rained just on Matt, I got 32 acres done. My GoPro disappeared somewhere like 5 days ago, and Matt just found it, gave it back to me, so here I am. Yeah.
Hey, Andy.
I'm tired. We're all tired and just...
Go ahead. Whenever you run back to the shop, would you mind grabbing a water and a Dr. Pepper for me? Yes, I can. I'll throw one in my lunchbox for you.
So every morning I get up and I make everyone's lunches. I make Matt's, mine, and Carter's. While they come out here and start servicing things.
Late. I did.
And you would think a kid would be grateful that his mom packs him 2 sandwiches, 2 Powerades, a water, 1 Dr. Pepper because he's got to get off that, like 5 bags of chips, muffins, crackers, and I was gonna pack fruit today, but I didn't have time to cut it. So feeding him is like feeding an army. And then he's like, I didn't get enough to eat. 2 sandwiches, 5 bags of chips, like 3 or 4 packets of crackers, some muffins, 2 Powerades, 2 waters, and a Dr. Pepper. And he says he doesn't have enough. Really? Children. So the last farm I was on is 2 small farms, and it's a lot of patches. It's like 2 acres here, 1 acre here, half an acre here, and we're literally farming our landlord's like front yards. And it's also the farm where I almost cut my fingers off. So it took like 3 hours to plant it because it's a lot of backing up, turn around, back up, turn around, back up, turn around. And then they were out there mowing the yard, and I didn't want to be rude and kicking up dust in their face, and so I had to start in the back, work my way up. It came down a flood here on Matt and the boys, and it didn't on me. I was like literally on the edge of it. So I finished, came back over here, and then we had the afternoon off, and then we came back out here yesterday and started back up around 12:30, 1 o'clock. I ran to go get seed, and then I went home. Laundry, cleaning the house, garbage, taking out, all that. So I do all the stuff in between this and it, so I don't have a brain. It's fried, it's gone, because I honestly don't know what day it is or what else I gotta do when I get home. Yeah, I'm tired. But that's all I got. I gotta go do my inroads, and I gotta wait on Matt to get ahead of me, so there's that. You know, it's pretty nice to have your own tractor washer. You just got a big old tank of water, and then you could just, you know, wash your windows, because I cannot see anything out of this. This thing is so dirty. It's still very dusty. We need some rain bad. I mean, this guy's corn's twisting up. Our cotton looks like poop, so it needs a drink badly, and I think the rest of us all do too. So I'm gonna wash these winders and get going. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I do need to replace that windshield wiper because this is crap, but I can see now. Yes. There's nothing like clean windows. I had everything when it was raised, and then as soon as I lowered it, it all went to red, which means something probably came unplugged back there. So I'm gonna head to Matt and see what we can investigate and find. I'm pretty sure something came unplugged. Usually that's what happens. So just another day in the planter. I've been having downforce problems. I know he touched on it in a previous video, but it will say, you know, downforce not working on row 9 when it's lifted, but when I'm planting it's fine. I don't know, there's so much electronics on here. Half the time they work, half the time they don't, but we're just gonna go see. My electrician just came over. The brain went bad, so I have to go back to the shop and go get the brain, because the brain decided to go, I'm done. So back to the shop I go.
Yeah, so much for a big day. Got done working on the planter. Had an electrical problem, and then Kelly found a part of the depth control on unit number 13 that was broke. Something that I've never broke before, so I didn't have a spare part to shop. So now Kelly's got to go all the way to Brownsville and back to get the parts. Luckily, we found it at 11:50, 10 minutes before they was going to go home. Otherwise, been Monday before we get that part. But I spent just as much time working on stuff this morning as I have actually cutting wheat. I need a full-time mechanic in the worst way possible.
All right, so I went back and got these SRMs, and we've got two different ones. I brought both of them, even though they look exactly the same, but with two different part numbers. I guess we're gonna figure out which is which. So that's what Matt thinks is wrong with it. So we changed the SRM, everything lit up, everything was good. Except for number 13, I've been having problems out of her. She kept popping off the vacuum hose, and then upon further investigation, she decided to brake while sitting here. Because last night, I planted all the way up to here. No problems, no load sensor, no nothing. Parked the planter, went home. Came back today, SRM decided to say, screw you. And now this, oh, look at this. Oh yeah, just right off. Yeah, that is the depth control. And yeah. And it's Saturday, and it's 11:53. So, I don't know what we're gonna do. I've parked it, told Matt, call them quickly. If they can put something outside, I can run and go get it. It might be a 2-hour drive, but at least we can fix it when I get back, and I can get to planting, because it is supposed to rain tomorrow. Lord willing, it's supposed to rain. And I can roll, so need to get this stuff planted. So I don't know, it's up to him, but he's not in a good mood at all. So I'm gonna go get my stuff and go sit in that truck until he decides what he wants to do. I love farming. It's so fun.
All right, there's another 110 acres done, ready to move on up to Porter Cable. And what I hope we got some really good yields up there, better than what we've seen so far. It's some of my better ground, but I got to do a little fixing first. Kelly should be back here in just a minute with a part for a planter. Plus, I noticed my AC just wasn't doing all that good, wasn't getting airflow through it. Took my filter out, and it's pretty nasty, but also see all that water floating around in my evaporator there? I got some drain tubes stopped up and we need to blow out, so take a few minutes to get that done, then we'll get moved on up to Porter Cable.